Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to this Monday morning episode of the Sports Mayhem Morning Show here on the Prime Coverage Sports Network. I am your host, Andrew Mighty Man Scheid, and with me again today is Marcus Mack, co-host of Unfiltered Sports here on Prime Coverage Sports Network, also co-host of Truth About Chicago Sports over on WRMN AM 1410 in the Fox River Valley. How are we doing tonight, Marcus?
Man, I'm doing excellent. And let's just be honest. At this point, Andrew, I'm Mr. Sports. I mean, hey, I'm coming in, making guest appearances here on Sports Mayhem. I'm doing Unfiltered Sports, which comes on later on today, on Monday. Then I'm doing Primetime Hoops, which is Saturday at 7 p.m. And then, yes, I've got a local radio show on the Chicago broadcast, Truth About Chicago Sports. That's every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. So, I'm busy, man. Then I make guest appearances. I do a guest appearance on Big Top Sports, which is on WRMN. I do that every Tuesday. I join Derek Geyer right there. That's 5:30 Central Time. You want to check that out. And then I make an appearance on this channel, a YouTube channel, Sports Nuts. Great guys over there. Brandon Keeler, really cool dude. So I do that every other Wednesday. I make an appearance on this. So I mean, man, I'm out there. I love sports. I love talking sports, and I love being a part of the sports world. And this is my world. So you know what? Hey, I usually tell people the only day I take off from talking sports is Sunday, so that I can watch more sports. And what a day it was to watch sports! Wow, Andrew, huh?
This is true. The first thing actually I want to talk off because it was a good day for sports. A lot of cool things happened, but I want to start off with the NCAA Final Four is officially set. It was set yesterday. There's one game I want to talk about, though, that was a real nail biter, and that was the UConn Duke game. Because
Awesome game.
I watched
Game.
the end of that game, and I thought UConn was done. I thought Duke had it sewn up. I thought,
Ooh-wee.
that's what I thought. But let me tell you, this is what March Madness is made of and why they call it March Madness.
Yeah, no, I mean it very much looked like Duke had it locked, and they were playing excellent basketball, and they had it all flowing. But at the same time, and we got our own chat group here on the Prime Cover Sports Network, where we sit and we all got our comments, and we're all chatting in, as that's what pundits love to do. And I somebody was like, wow, UConn's coming back, and I said I never expected Duke to hold that lead, because UConn, one, has an excellent coach in Hurley. Two, they are an excellent team. They have a championship pedigree. That, even though the thing about UConn is that UConn keeps players, whereas that most of these schools are really just, hey, transfer portal, one and done. UConn has a nice system where they keep guys that stay in the system that maybe aren't even going to go and play in the NBA, but they're in Bobby Hurley's system, doing well. I'm sorry, the brother, I think that's Dan Hurley, not Bobby. It still came down to what makes March Madness so special, and that's the game ending finishes. And I think the thing that people love about it so much, what I love about it so much, is the fact that you see competition at its highest. And
Right.
I love seeing how these superior athletes are going to perform when the pressure's at its highest. And what we saw was a Duke team that had a chance to close it out, And instead, the pressure got to them, tried to make a quick decision. A young freshman player, instead of knowing the rules of basketball, and all he had to do was hold the ball. Duke had the lead. They have to foul. You didn't have to pass the basketball at all. You didn't have to worry about the 8-second shot clock or anything. All you had to do was hold the ball. What you could not do was exactly what he did and turn it over. And that's what they did. And then once they turned it over, instead of closing out and saying, hey, if nothing else, we give up a 2 and go to overtime, they act shocked, didn't know what to do, were panicking, and gave the guy a wide open look. Even though it was a deep 3, they still should have been guarding everybody. Everybody should have been manned up once that turnover happened, because the idea is that, hey, if they score 2, we're going into overtime.
Right.
So that like I said, pressure, man, pressure, and it brings out the best and the worst in players. It doesn't define their career overall, but just it definitely defines that moment. And in that moment, that's what we saw. We saw a team that could not prevail with the pressure. And then we got our final result, and I think it's fabulous. I love the fact that, you know what, it's not 4 number ones and not even 3 number ones going at each other. You got 2 number ones playing one another, and then a 2 and a 3. So, however it plays out in the championship, either a number 1 matchup is going to win a championship, or it's going to be a team that is not a number 1 matchup. And I like that. I like that disparity that still shows that these tournaments matter. It's still, even with all this transfer portal stuff and, Neil, the tournament is still has success. College basketball is still having success a lot more than NCAA football, if you ask me.
Right. And one thing I want to talk about, and I want to get my thoughts out on this game, because here's the one thing that really, irked me with Duke. And my instructor at IMS, Illinois Media School, Double D David Dykstra, is going to probably help me for this. Duke had that game sewn up with 10 seconds left on the clock. And I say, all you have to do is just hold on to the ball. If you held on to the ball,
First off, Double D is a loudmouth, and I love him, but he is not the god of sports. And he's wrong a lot more times than he's wrong a lot more times than he's right. So you don't worry about Double D. You speak it how you feel, mighty man.
I'm just saying that. But my thing with Duke is you had the game sewn up with 10 seconds on the clock. All you had to do was hang on to the ball, and then they tried to get rid of it, and we saw the end result. So that it's just something that you had the championship not the championship, but you had that game
road to the final
in your hand.
In your hands. You had it. Boozer made an excellent move. Cam Boozer made an excellent move so that they could be positioned up. They had it after he missed the free throw. It was everything was set up. All they had to do, get the ball in, and make UConn foul. And some kind of a way that all failed, and I was just shocked, because I'm sitting there watching it, and when the kid steps to the line and he misses the first free throw, I go, oh my goodness. I go, that's it. I go, that was my thought too. I go, he just gave the game to Duke. I go, all Duke has got to do now is play the free throw game and get fouled. And when they inbounded the ball, and then it went back to the guy who inbounded the ball, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And then for some reason, he threw the ball to the other Boozer brother, and then that's what led to the turnover. And I'm just still the whole time wondering why no one just didn't hold on to the basketball. I just still couldn't.
That's my big thing with that
part of it.
My big thing with that.
Even if you were worried about the 8-second clock of advancing, it still would have only had been 2 seconds left on the clock where UConn would have had to inbound the ball and set up for a play. Instead, you turned the ball over. Now it's helter skelter. You have no set defense, no timeout, no way. And if I honestly, if I was Duke, even in that situation, I would have fouled. I would have fouled because you put a guy to the free throw line and he either ties the game or he misses the free throw, and now you still got a 1-point lead, but you still got time on the clock to be able to drop a play and you get the last second shot off. So that would have been my strategy. Once again, I just think that goes to coaching as well. You can't always put that on the kids, but when that turnover would have happened, I would have been screaming if I'm the coach, foul, because I'm not letting them shoot a three. I'm not letting them get a 3-point shot off. I'm playing from my position of strength, which is that I've got a 2-point lead. I'm going to put the pressure on you to have to hit those free throws. We still get a chance to get a last-second shot off or go to overtime.
Right. And moving forward, this is a game, I did not catch this game, but Michigan ended up taking down Tennessee today in Chicago.
Yes.
And now
I was never worried about that, though.
No, I wasn't either. But now the Final Four is set. So you have Arizona taking on Michigan and Illinois taking on UConn. Now, I will say this.
My homer pick, Illinois, baby.
Yes, my homer pick is Illinois. But I do think that Illinois has a decent shot of getting past UConn. I don't think I would have said the same thing with Duke.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, Duke, I think Duke on paper overpowers Illinois. Does Illinois match up better with UConn? I think so. But at the same time, I also think that UConn has a very good coach, and this guy has shown his way. I mean, look at how it started out.
Showed it last night.
He's gone. He went through an excellent coach in UCLA. They destroyed them. Then he was able to put down Tom Izzo in Michigan State, another excellent coach. Then he goes on and he takes down John Shire, who has been an excellent replacement for Coach K. And now he's going to be taking on a young Illinois coach who's unproven, and he's got the advantage. He's a championship winner. He's got the pedigree. He's got the horses. So it's an uphill battle for Illinois. Make no mistake about it. If Illinois is to defeat UConn, I am considering that an upset. There's no way UConn is not the favorite going into this matchup.
I do think UConn is a favorite.
Although I do see a weird line right now that's got Illinois minus 2.5, and I think that line's gonna change soon. I do not see Illinois as the favorite.
Yeah, I do too. No, I don't. And I see UConn as a favorite, but I do think that it's a better matchup for Illinois. They have a better chance at winning this game. This is Illinois' first Final Four appearance since 2005. So, in the first Final appearance,
it's definitely
for
their best chance. It's their best chance to make it to a to make a finals appearance. If I agree, for whatever reason, team wise, they match up a lot better against UConn than they would Duke. I know that sounds blasphemous because UConn just beat Duke, but yeah. I feel honestly, and this is just me speaking from the heart, that if Illinois had played Duke, I think Duke would have blown them out.
Oh, for sure, and I'm the first to admit that, and that's me being an Illinois fan since I was a kid. Because growing up, my dad roots for Illinois, so I always rooted for Illinois with my dad. So that's how that started. That's how that started.
Now I'm going to say this. I think that if Arizona taps Michigan out,
Okay.
It's Arizona's championship. I just think they're just too fast, too big, too strong. I believe that if Michigan is able to pull it out somehow, and is able to defeat Arizona, I think you're gonna have a more even matchup with either team that makes it to that final round. I think that if Arizona wins, I think that they overpower UConn or Illinois. Doesn't matter who comes out of it. I think that Arizona's going to electric slide to the title. So it's really kind of on Michigan, and that's a heavy task. But Michigan's path, has they've cakewalked every team they've played so far. They handled Howard without no problem. They steamrolled through St. Louis 95-72. They put Alabama down easily 90-77. And then they took and dismantled a Tennessee squad, which I thought was a pretty good team. But they just dismantled them 95-62. So as much as everybody has talked about, the juggernaut that Arizona is, and they are, like, I ain't taking nothing away from them. I ain't taking nothing away from that. Michigan's been doing the same thing. So people do need to pay attention to that, as much as everybody's been wanting, because Arizona was my pick. Arizona's been a lot of people's sexy pick for the tournament. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm looking at this, and I've been paying attention to that. And Michigan has been a good team all season. At one point, they were the number 1 ranked team. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked at all if Michigan wins this game.
Right. And I wouldn't be either. And, we're just going to have to wait and see. And I think this will be a great Final Four to watch next weekend.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be excellent, excellent Final Four. And this tournament, I mean, like, I said this before when we were doing Mayhem, and I'm going to say it again, that this has been an excellent tournament. I've absolutely enjoyed it 100%. This has just been phenomenal to watch. We've gotten everything that you could ask for: buzzer beaters, upsets, a Cinderella story, like everything that everyone wanted, they got, and then some. And now at the end, in the Final Four, we're still getting exactly what, because as much as everybody talks about the Cinderella story, it's only cute for so long. It's only cute until it gets to the last, because then you want to see the best of the best go at each other, like what we saw with Duke and UConn. That was two heavyweights battling. That's what you want to see. That's what we're gonna get with UConn and Illinois. We're gonna get 2 heavyweights battling. That's what we're gonna get with Arizona and Michigan. We're gonna get 2 heavyweights battling. So I absolutely love it. And hats out to the Big Ten. Talk about coming and representing.
I mean, they really did. They really did. And
man, the Big Ten came and stepped
up,
man.
That's a great thing to see. And I'm going to have fun watching this Final Four. I want to move on and talk about some big news that happened in the MLB, or something big that has happened in the MLB today.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't want to say I had my reservations about him, but I said it would take him a while to get off to a good start. Apparently, I was wrong, because Munetaka Murakami for the Chicago White Sox has 3 homers in as many games. White Sox fans are posting he is now on pace to hit 162 homers, and even saying
Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic.
It's not going to happen.
Let's be realistic.
It's fun to see him do that. And even
it's awesome.
Even yesterday's homer in the finale against Milwaukee, which they ended up losing, but it was still a great game to watch, because he didn't get all of it, but it still left the park.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, Andrew.
Power this kid has.
I'm going to tell you, Andrew, something that you and every other baseball fan, including White Sox fan, which counts myself. Remember, he does not have any scouting against professional American League pitching. All of his
Right.
scouting has come from him being in the Japanese league. So none of these pitchers know or have any history or any film on how he's going to react to the way that pitching is done in the American major leagues. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't watch a lot of, I don't watch any. Actually, let me take that back. I don't watch any Japanese baseball.
I don't
what
either.
I've seen,
I don't catch
but
it.
what I've seen when they played in World Baseball Classic, when players have come over, they definitely have a different way where they play the game, especially their pitching. They've got different arm angles that they throw at. It's their pitching is like on a whole nother world. So guys don't have real film on Mooney. If everybody's wondering, that's Murakari's nickname. It's Mooney.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and there's no real film on him. And a lot of players benefit from this. There's a reason why there's the thing called the sophomore slump. And it's not because it's some like weird voodoo jinx on players. It's because teams finally get a resume. They finally get tape on you. They finally get film. They finally get a feel for you. Pitchers now have information to pass on to other pitchers. Hey, when I pitched against this guy, I made the mistake of throwing a four seam and to the corner, low and inside. He crushed me. Don't make that mistake. Make sure you keep your pitches here. You know, so until people get that, they're going against Mooney blindly. And guess what? His power is elite. I think that was obvious coming over from the Japanese league. If anybody thought for some reason a guy that literally hit like 500 home runs over there, something like that, did they think that was like fake or manufactured? I don't understand that. Like you had to know he was gonna hit the ball here.
Yes. Here's the thing, major league clubs, what I'm always hearing from national talk, from White Sox, everything I'm hearing, major league clubs were worried, can he hit major league pitching? So I think he's also come into the season, I think in my opinion, he might have known that a little bit, that these clubs would say, oh, well, can you hit major league pitching? No.
Did you worry about that, though? Did you worry about
it?
Because
I did it because he's played in the World Baseball Classic.
And so exactly.
I was not worried about that one bit.
Power cannot be, it's not fabricated. Speed, you can't coach speed. You can't coach power. Either someone has it or they don't. And that's the reason why the home run steroid era is always debated. Did juicing help them hit more home runs? And the answer is yes. Now, it wasn't illegal, and so therefore I guess that's where it comes into place of did they really cheat? But the truth of it is that power cannot be fabricated if you're doing things the right way in the game. And so if you have power, if you have speed, that's something a coach can't give you. And therefore there's no way it's not going to translate. Look at Ohtani. Ohtani crushed the ball in Japan. If anybody doubted that he was going to crush the ball when he came to the American leagues, then you're just not watching baseball properly, I guess, because power is just something you can't manufacture, and that's something you can't coach. It's just real, and Mooney's got it. Mooney's got power in his bat.
And I think the lineup that Will Venable put together today might be a lineup we see it again. again here in Chicago. I want to talk about the White Sox opponents yesterday in that series finale because they got this 3-game sweep, and everyone's like, "Oh, the White Sox are looking horrible," even though they got Mooney.
Really?
It's
Already? Already? They're
still
looking horrible already?
it's
Wow.
still the first series of the week, and that's one thing I want to talk about is some of these teams coming out of the first series is over. Let's talk about some of these teams. The Yankees did phenomenal. Aaron
Phenomenal.
Judge,
Phenomenal.
phenomenal. Aaron Judge didn't have the best series of his career. He's done a lot better, but we've seen that this team can win even if Aaron Judge is not performing at his best.
But his bat still showed up. I mean, it wasn't completely blank, and he still was able to show that he's the Aaron Judge that everyone thought and knew that he was.
Right.
And so, I mean, I remember you were asking me like, should people be worried? And I'm like, no. And then like the very next game, he went nuts. So
Yes.
that's why I told you that. I'm like, no. I'm like, this guy's too good. He's too seasoned. He's gonna be just fine. And that's exactly what happened. You got to trust the old dog over here that knows a thing or two about a thing or two there, Andrew.
Right. There's one team that actually shocked me here, the opening series, and that was the Miami Marlins. I did not think, yes, they were playing the Colorado Rockies, sure, but I did not think that they were going to get a big game.
Wait a minute. Time out. You can't do that. You can't say in one breath, "Hey, I'm really shocked by the Marlins," but yeah, they were playing the Rockies. No.
I thought the Rockies could take one of three.
You don't get it both ways.
I thought the Rockies were going to take one of three.
The Rockies suck, mighty man, and you know that, and I know that. We talked about them when we were talking about the overall, all the leagues, all the teams in the league, and we both agreed that the Rockies were going to be bottom feeders. That's okay. And here's the funny part about it. If you've been following baseball for the last good 5 to 7 years, which I know you have, the Marlins always open the season up hot. They always open the season up excellent. And one of the advantages they have is because they're playing in a warm climate. Everybody else is in a cold climate in the upper parts of town. They got to come down and play them in that warm weather, and they're there waiting on them. And it's early, and they feast on that advantage early. But the Marlins are who they always are gonna be. Now, if the Marlins sweep the Yankees or they sweep the Dodgers, then I'll be like, okay, let me look and pay attention. But sweeping the Rockies, that means nothing to me.
All right. Well, the Dodgers had a good opening series, as you just were alluding to them. They had a good opening series as well. Again, they're trying to go for that three-peat, and again, they have a real shot. And again, I'll say it again, I think it is the Dodgers World Series to lose again this year.
I mean, it is. But at the same time, we also know that it's so hard to win a World Series. And it was extremely difficult for the Dodgers to win that second World Series. That wasn't a cakewalk. It took 7 games against a very good Blue Jays team. And so therefore, I don't think that it's a situation where you could just automatically give the Dodgers a championship. I don't think that is, I mean, it's just not the way in baseball, and if that is the way, then it definitely needs to be a salary cap. Please and thank you, ASAP.
Right. And speaking of the Blue Jays, Dylan Cease signed a long-term contract with the Toronto Blue Jays had his first start today, or yesterday, I should say. I apologize. 12 Ks. Where was this when he was on the south side of Chicago? Because it was there in spurts, but it was not there consistently.
I mean,
Like,
but no, no, time out. But now we're over here trying to say that Larice Roberts wasn't an all-star. He was.
he was.
He got clearly in a situation of a rebuild that he probably wasn't expecting. And yeah, there was some letdowns all the way around. I mean, from Andrews to Makata. I mean, the list goes on, and I guess Roberts, Andrew Vaughn, and I guess Roberts is a part of that to some degree. But out of all of that mess, Andrew Roberts was probably the best player and the most consistent player throughout all of that Tobago, and it really did hit rock bottom for him until last year when the team clearly was shopping him. I think he started the season out banged up and injured. And so, I'm not going to put the tag on him that was on Andrew. I'm not going to say he quit on the White Sox or that he didn't try, because you know what, at least he did make an all-star appearance in a White Sox uniform. That's more than we could ever say for Andrew Stink Vaughn. Okay.
Right.
Players openly admitted came to spring training, lifted a couple weights for like 20 seconds and then dipped out and was hanging out in bars and drinking beer or whatever the heck he was doing, but he wasn't trying to play baseball or get better at playing baseball while he was with the White Sox. So, it fell apart for Larice Roberts at the end with the White Sox, but it was mostly a lot to do with injury. And I don't think I don't think he was a quitter. I don't think he was a quitter. I don't think he quit on the White Sox. I think that it was just a situation where it was a team that was going nowhere. He was a player that needed to get right. And once he got right, then the White Sox traded him. I think the White Sox would have had traded him before had he been healthy. I don't think he was healthy.
Yes.
And that's why teams didn't want to trade for him. I think once he got healthy, that's when it happened.
And he had a walk-off homer for the Mets yesterday. But I think Dylan Cease is obviously, with a long-term contract in Toronto, has found a home there. He had a great first start today with 12 strikeouts.
Yeah, but Dylan Cease has been gone for a while, brother. Like Dylan Cease, he was with the Padres. Now he's with the Blue. I don't even connect him with the White Sox like that anymore. Like, I mean, once he went to the Padres, that was it. And his White Sox career was like this. I would look more at the kid that's now in Boston, Crochet. That was the unfortunate one you had to cut ties with because the team wasn't going nowhere and you could get good benefits for him.
And that's a crazy thing. And we've seen a lot of pitchers come in and do a lot of crazy things. But one thing I forgot to talk about is I want to talk about the Milwaukee Brewers, because they were able to take down the White Sox. And the one thing that is scaring me, if I'm a National League organization, about the Milwaukee Brewers, is how they can fight back in a game. Because that's what they did yesterday.
Winning series. That's what should scare people about the Brewers. As we saw their rival, the Cubs, drop their opening series to a team that's probably going to bottom out. I'd be very surprised if the Washington Nationals were somewhere when the season ends. And they dropped their opening series against them, where we saw the Brewers come out and do what the Brewers have been doing. Like I said, and I'm going to say this once again, they have won the division 3 years in a row. When people need to get it through their heads, the Cubs do not run the Central. They do
No.
not run the National League Central. The Milwaukee Brewers do. The Milwaukee Brewers are the best team in the National League Central. They have been the best team in the National League Central for the last 3 years, and they showed it against the White Sox to open the season.
Yeah, I mean, they really did. And if I'm the LA Dodgers wanting that three-peat, I'm really looking at the Milwaukee Brewers as one of those teams that is going to threaten that three-peat run.
Don't close your eyes on the Philadelphia Phillies.
No, and there are a bunch of teams.
Don't close your eyes on the Phillies.
There are a bunch of teams. I think the Blue Jays can make another run at it. I think the Phillies can make a run at it. There are a lot of National League teams this year that have really bolstered themselves and could really threaten the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, no, it's not a cakewalk.
No, it won't be this year. And one thing I want to talk about with MLB that's new this year, been talked about a lot, ABS has now entered regular season play. There's not been as many challenges as I thought theirs would be at this point. There's been way few overturns than I thought. I think these umpires are getting a lot better with their calls with this ABS system being brought up.
I think they always were. I just think the ABS is now showing a lot of people that what everyone was questioning, what people thought could be questionable. Because remember, what you see on the TV, people, and they even say it to you, what you see on the TV and where the ball is at in that little box that they draw is not always 100% accurate. And so therefore what people were questioning and saying, oh man, how could he, because I'm looking at the replay on TV and where that ball, and now ABS is like right there that call was correct. Okay, that call was right. And the thing that I find the most interesting is that there's no challenge. There's only been, so far as I know, there's only been 2 challenges from pitchers so far. It's all come from hitters and catchers. And I've been really shocked about that. I would have thought that more pitchers would challenge the calls than anybody.
It's funny you say that because I have a friend who actually works, and I'm not going to say his name. He works the ABS system. I think it's for the White Sox or Cubs for MLB. And he says the 2 people that should be challenging calls are the batter and catcher. The pitcher is too far away to actually see where that ball ends up. The catcher is going to have a better view to see where that ball landed in his mitt or landed in that strike zone or out of that strike zone. And to be honest, thinking about it after he said that, I kind of agree with him. The pitchers are kind of farther away, and I think that's why we haven't seen so many pitcher challenges.
Oh yeah, no, and I agree. I agree with it. It's just that if you think about in the pantheons of baseball, whenever there's been questionable calls, it's been a demonstrative attitude that has come from the batter or either the pitcher towards an umpire when they thought that the call was wrong. You've never seen the catcher jump up, throw his face mask off, and start arguing with the umpire. It was always usually the pitcher that would freak out, and then the coach would come out and start freaking out because the pitcher's freaking out. But it's very rare where you saw the catcher start to freak out, and then a coach comes out or the catcher gets thrown out of the game because of questionable calls with balls and strikes. And so that, I guess that's why I'm saying, like, yeah, it makes complete sense that the pitcher's farther away. But before ABS, whenever there was what was perceived to be a bad call by an umpire, it was the pitcher that would be the one that would be demonstrative and upset and physically, visibly affected by it.
Right.
And I guess that's why I'm saying I'm surprised that when going with that history, that the pitchers are like saying, hey, you know what? I am too far away. I'm hands off, when they were the ones that were so emotional when the calls what they perceived to be not correct. So I understand why, but I'm still shocked that it's been so little from them. And maybe that also though goes as a testament to the catchers in the leagues and the relationships that they have with the starting pitchers and the bullpens. The catchers run the show. They really do, and that's what people have to understand about that. That the pitchers don't run the show. The catchers run the show. They're the ones that are making the calls for which pitches need to be made against certain players. If you need to pitch on the inside to the outside, they're making all those calls. It's not the pitcher. So it with that knowledge, I guess it does make a lot of sense that the pitcher is putting it on the catcher, saying, hey, you're the guy that calls the game anyway. You're the guy that I trust to call against every batter. So you're going to be the guy that I'm going to trust to challenge if I feel that pitch was good. You know what I mean? I'm going to trust you to be on the same wavelength with me and challenge that as well. And I think that that's exactly what's happening and why you've only seen 2 challenges from pitchers.
Right. And you alluded to it great there. I think people always look at it, the pitchers leading the defense out there. And in a way he is, in a way, but I think it's more of a co-captain duo with pitchers and catchers. Because I think the catcher has as much to do with what's going on out there as the pitcher does. And you alluded to it, like the catchers make most of the calls. And to drop a little baseball history nugget on people that don't know, the only perfect game ever thrown in the World Series was Don Larson and Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra was catching that game and called every pitch, and he said Don Larson didn't shake him off one time. And that's how instrumental a catcher can be in a ball game.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a synonymous relationship. It's something that's quite special, and I'm just I am I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm really glad that it came into place too, because I got sick of that. I got sick because there was times where I would see a play that's like, oh man, it looked like that. It looked like that. Got that call wrong, got wrong real bad, and it made no sense when we got all this technology that we should be doing that we should be having this conversation. It should be a real simple thing. Go check it. Go check it and see, and you know what? Hey, we get the real proper result. I think it brings honesty and more integrity into the game, and that creates more excitement in the game, if you ask me.
And it really will, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the season goes with this, because this was only a small sample size, and I think in 3 games throughout the league in the opening series, I think we had like 60 or 70 something challenges. So it wasn't a astronomical number. And the one thing this opening series, or opening weekend, or opening week, I should say, is we unfortunately had some injuries take place. One of them in the Milwaukee Brewers being, we talked about him before, Andrew Vaughn will now be out for at least a month. So
Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Well, that'll, considering the type of hitter he became when he joined Milwaukee, that's going to hurt him a little bit. Jackson Chourio is still going to be out for the first 4 to 6 weeks, I think it was, or 4 weeks. I mean, it's tough to see stuff like that happen. The White Sox saw Chase Maedroff take an errant throw to first base right to his arm. Luckily, he stayed in the game, but these are just things you have to watch out for early.
Injuries are a big part of this, and that's something that's definitely going to have to be watched out for. And like I said, attrition is something that is a part of baseball, and it's a part of every sport. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see how this is gonna go in terms of now that this young season has gotten started. And talking about seasons, I'm sitting here and I'll tell you, man, we got a real exciting. I think we're about to have a really exciting NBA playoffs that's about to build. I'm really getting pumped about that as well. Uh, this season is really starting to wrap up, and I don't know how many people out there in the big sports media world is true NBA fans, because the NBA is
It's a niche league. You have to be into the sport.
They've done it to themselves. But I'll tell you, I am excited. I am pumped about it. It's something that I'm looking forward to, and to me, it's that nice in between. I mean, obviously, we got the NFL draft, which is getting ready to come up soon, and
That's gonna be fun.
and that's gonna dominate a lot of news. But in that in between time, yeah, I will be consuming some NBA basketball. But I gotta ask you though, this really kind of popped up in the sports media scene, and it's been kind of strange and weird in a way. But it's been like, it's been so many weird pundits that have spoke on it that I feel like it is my duty as a fellow Chicagoan to have to speak on the fact that why do so many people care that Caleb Williams wants to trademark the name Iceman?
I don't know why.
I mean, I just think that's hilarious that
Okay,
all of a
let's do
sudden
this
now
depends on
people care. Now people care because he wants to
depends
trademark it.
on how he wants to do it, because let's not forget, Marshawn Lynch trademarked Beast Mode, but he does not really charge for the use of it. So it all depends on what Caleb Williams would want to do with the trademark.
Well, I think the idea was that Caleb and his team wanted to roll out a full marketing theme with the Iceman and you can't do that if you don't trademark something, because then someone else could go out and say, "Hey,
this
no,
is true.
actually you're using my thing."
Right.
So it wasn't that Caleb was trying to steal a trademark from anybody or take something from George Gervin. Who is correct? I'm an old enough basketball guy. I know for a fact, yes, George Gervin in the NBA was known as the Iceman. Caleb is in the NFL, which is, first off, I that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of like perplexed, because I'm like, he's not trying to take the name from a former NFL guy. You're in the NBA. You're allowed to share nicknames in different leagues. You can be the hitman in the NFL, and you could be the hitman in the NBA. Like that. So that part right off the bat, I thought was kind of weird on George Gervin's part, and kind of a hater as well. But then secondly, what's wrong with Caleb trying to market off of this, something that was thrown on him? He didn't derive the name Iceman. It was given to him by his teammates and by Chicago pundits like myself. Once we heard his teammates calling him that, everyone jumped all over because of his play in the fourth quarter. Like, man, that's the Iceman right there. And so
he acts like it too, and that's why
exactly
he did not let anything get to him. He was as cold as a block of ice.
And he didn't shy away from it. He actually embraced the nickname. And so there's nothing wrong with the fact of this kid now saying, I want to roll out merchandise. I want to market myself with said nickname. And I can't do that if I don't own a trademark on it? Because now someone could come and sue me and say that's my copyright, that's my trademark. And if Caleb is as smart as a businessman as I think he is, the last thing you want happening to you, Andrew, is that you got sued because you took what someone else claims that they own and have the rights to. So Caleb did everything the right way by going for the trademark. I just think that it was kind of bogus, the response that we saw from people, including George Gervin, trying to act like he was trying to take or steal something. Well, you should have had it trademarked then. And then Caleb would have never even thought, if it was already trademarked, then Caleb would have been like, oh, I can't use it. I can't market it. Yeah, it's a cool nickname that my teammates can give me, but I can't use it because it's already trademarked. It wasn't trademarked. That's why he put in a trademark, and now people are mad.
Yeah, and and I think one thing, they don't want him getting, Chicago fans don't want Caleb Williams getting cocky and getting a big ego. I always say it's not an ego when you can back it up. And
I think that there's just natural hate for this kid, period. It goes back to when he was at USC. It goes to when he was drafted. I've heard many pundits and fans, and I'm just, this is a national media scene, so I'm not over here trying to press some Chicago agenda. I'm just
I'm
honest.
not either.
I've heard so many negative comments about him painting his nails. I'm speaking from the fact that he was a number 1 draft pick 2 years ago. He's considered he was dubbed a generational talent. He is supposed to be the next best quarterback since Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck. And so that's why I'm speaking on this matter, and that the fact that I've always felt that there's been this massive amount of hate because of him painting his nails, because he's different, because he is a little cocky, because he is flamboyant. He believes in his talent, and he backs that up. And I think that makes people even more mad. I think people love to see someone fail first and then have to come up, a Sam Darnoldson. You know what I'm saying? I think people love that story way more than they love someone that's just dominating. That like look how much venom has come towards Patrick Mahomes when people should be celebrating him. People should be celebrating the Chiefs and their achievements and what that dude has done since coming out of college. And yet there's venom, and yet all of a sudden it's, Travis Kelce is dating Taylor Swift, one of the biggest pop stars in the world, and that's a problem somehow. I'm sick of seeing her on TV when it's a football game.
And here's the thing. I was one of those fans because I was like, okay, if I'm watching the NFL, do I really want to stare at Taylor Swift at the time?
Doesn't matter.
No, I don't. But that's why I'm going to leave that. But anyway, with the Kansas City Chiefs, I would actually be praying for Patrick Mahomes to be healthy at least by week 2, because your alternative is way worse. Justin Fields, in my opinion, he is dumpster fire right now.
I just think when you're a winner, and when you don't have to come from the bottom, there's this natural hate. We saw it with Mahomes, but guess who else we saw it with? Tom Brady. And here's the funny part about it. I'm a fan of both. I loved Tom Brady when he played. I love Patrick Mahomes.
I still do.
You know
both,
why?
Yeah.
Because I love winners. And that's what Caleb Williams is. Caleb Williams is a winner. And as long as he continues to win, he's going to get a harsh level of hate.
Yeah, it seems like it's always the winners who get targeted. It's never the losers, because what media coverage are they going to get?
Well,
it's always
people love to see you hit the bottom first. That's what made Sam Darnoldson so cute this year, because he was from the bottom and now he got to rise himself up. It's something weird about that in sports, where people love to see the comeback story rather than the dominant story.
Right.
I was a big Jordan fan, and I'm glad I was. Thank goodness. I couldn't
Oh,
imagine
I
being on
think
the other
everyone
side.
in Chicago.
I
I mean, I was
I
born in
I couldn't
2000. I'm a
imagine
big
being on
Jordan fan.
I couldn't imagine being on the other side of it. You know what I'm saying? Where you just couldn't stand him because he was constantly winning. You hated seeing him win, and that's gotta suck. That's gotta suck to dislike a player because they constantly win. I just think that is something that people need to look themselves in the mirror and ask, what's really your issue? And maybe it's
Well,
because you're not winning in life yourself.
it's like what's going on with the Dodgers right now. They are winning and signing all the big talent, so everyone is mad at them.
Yes.
I mean, it's literally what is going on with the Dodgers. They're
And
winning. They're
how can you
signing
not
all the
like
big.
winning? How can you not like
Exactly.
winning?
And there are
I
players on the Dodgers I love. Mookie Betts and is one of them. I love Mookie
I
Betts.
think Otani might be the greatest baseball player that me and you are ever going to watch in our lifetime. I never got to watch
Right.
Babe Ruth. I never got to
No.
watch Mickey Mantle. I never got to watch Lou Gehrig. I never got to watch Willie Mays. You know what I mean? These are considered some of the top greatest baseball players of all time. I did get to watch Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
And now I
You did.
get to watch Shohei Ohtani. And if anyone would have asked me who the greatest baseball players that I've ever seen play with my own two eyes, I would say Barry Bonds and Ohtani. Those are the two greatest baseball players that I've ever seen with my eyes play baseball. And shout out, I forgot to mention that I never got to see Hank Henry Aaron's, also one of the greatest.
Yes. I mean, those are guys, and there are some greats from the 80s, people will say, Ozzie Smith being one of them. One of my grandfather loved Ozzie Smith.
So that's why I say,
I
what's wrong with the greats? What's wrong with loving the
yeah,
greats? And I get it. I get that people want to see the other side. They love seeing the being the antagonist, and they want to see the strife and the contrast, and that's cool. Hey man, look, I'm with that, but I'm also about greatness, and I love and I support seeing greatness in sports. And so I think that is the more greatness that Caleb Williams achieves, the more hate and venom he's going to receive. And this is just a part of it. And I just thought that was just kind of crazy, that there was just so much pushback and angst against a young superstar just trying to make a name for himself and make a little money.
yeah, but I think one thing that Chicago fans leading up to Caleb Williams' draft a couple of years ago were concerned about was, oh my God, we're getting the next Aaron Rodgers. I don't want an egotistical Aaron Rodgers on my team as my quarterback. I don't want that. Just because Aaron Rodgers, and he said it, was Caleb Williams' favorite football player growing up, because Aaron Rodgers has been in this league since the dinosaurs roamed the earth, it doesn't mean he's going to be exactly like him. Did
Andrew,
Peyton and Eli play exactly like Arch Manning? No, they did not. So,
I got something for you, brother, that's gonna break everyone's heart before we go out. All quarterbacks are egotistical. Didn't Russell Wilson have an office at Denver? Tom Brady used to scream and yell at his players on camera right there when they didn't do what he says. Joe Montana was extremely cocky, extremely egotistical. Yeah, so was John Elway. Yeah, so was Dan Marino. Oh yeah, by the way, Aaron Rodgers, him too, Brett Favre. The list goes on. Do I need to keep going about great quarterbacks and being egotistical, maybe even sometimes jerks? I think that goes along with the territory, and anybody that wants to think that it doesn't, you're not watching football.
no, and I think being cocky and sure of yourself in any level of football. It's just part of playing the game, because especially speaking from a former defensive player, defensively, you step on that field, you're stepping out there, you're going, this is my field, and no one's going to take it from me. So you're automatically out there being cocky and sure of yourself and just being, that kind of guy. But that's what
Just
you have
being
to
that
be to
kind
play
of-
the game.
Yes, indeed, brother. Man, always love joining you. Man, once again, hopefully folks out there are following the channel. Please make sure you subscribe. Come check us out. We got so much good stuff going on Prime Cover Sports Network. Every day we're talking sports. Obviously, I've got Colt. I'm going to be doing Unfiltered later today. Check it out. And I'm just thanking you once again for letting me join you, brother Andrew. And anytime you need me to come and fill in and be a guest, I'm welcome.
Yeah, thank you. And, I'm always happy to have you. I want to thank everybody for joining us on this lovely Monday morning. These past 2 episodes have been the new 1-hour format, and I'm loving it. I think it's working a lot better. Like Marcus said, if you haven't yet, please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify. You can catch all our episodes later on Spotify. I'm Andrew Mighty Man Scheid for the Prime Coverage Sports Network. He's Marcus Mack. Hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Monday, and we will see everybody for Sports Mayhem Friday morning. Peace out, everybody.
Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.